Hi and welcome. This is Beth Kingston from Simply Thrive Physio and Pilates. This series today is to help you perfect your planks. We're going to work on shoulder planks, and there's loads of benefits to doing planks, strength, core, posture, heart rate, all sorts of things. But as with most things, only if you do them well. So we're going to spend some time working up to being familiar with our form and our posture, recruiting our core, and working on some different moves to help us to be able to perform a plank really well. So let's go. I really encourage you to invest in what may seem like boring, irrelevant moves, but are actually really foundational to performing a plank really well. So Pilates is about reinforcing positive movement patterns, getting the right partners working together. It's also pain-free. So if this brings on any of the moves bring on a sharp pain, then step it down a level or do a stretch that you know isn't painful. We don't push into pain with Pilates. So we're going to start by thinking about our posture. We're going to have our feet hip width apart by turning our toes out, following with our heels, softening through our knees so we're not jammed into straight knees. We're then going to find our neutral lower back position as we set our centers. So to do that, we come through the pelvic tilting range of movement. So we increase the arch, that tilts the pelvis forward. We then tuck the tailbone under, that flattens our back. They're the two extremes of the movement, and that will vary in range from individual to individual. So we come back and forth until you find your midway position, thinking of the pelvis being upright. And for most people, that's a gentle curve in the lower back. And notice that position. Notice how it feels, because we want to take that into our plank, okay? Next, we want to think about head and neck position. So I want you to imagine a really big helium balloon with a colour of your choice, and it's floating above your head with a string coming down to the crown of the head. It's attached to the crown of your head, and it's giving you some length and lift through the back of your neck and the upper spine. So in today's world, with sitting at desks, computers, and driving a lot, many people habitually have a slightly forward chin position. We want to counteract that now and just give our neck some nice gliding movement, encouraging the joints in a way that they're designed to move. And as you bring your chin back, you might feel a bit of a stretching at the back of your neck. That's okay. No sharp pain, of course. And it's not a nodding up and down, but a gliding back and forth. So do this in front of a mirror. It's not the most attractive move, but it's good to do. And it almost gives a sense of a double chin starting when we come into our slightly tucked chin position. Now do that with your hand in your neck at the back there so that you can feel what it feels like when you brought your chin back slightly. With your chin tuck, we're going to rotate and just enjoy that rotational movement, which might be a bit greater than usual once we've got the tuck on. Okay, the next postural thing we want to think about is our shoulder position. So historically, shoulders back is what was said, but that's not what we're aiming for here. What we want is shoulders dropped away from ears. So if you've got a rounded shoulder position, or because of tension or just how you are, your shoulders seem to sit up here, we want to think about dropping shoulders away from ears and sliding our shoulder blades down our back. And as you do that, you feel like a small dropping of the head of your humerus in the shoulder joint here. Okay, it's not back, but it's down. Okay, and it's shoulder blades sliding down. And that's the start of working on some of these forward roll positions, which in time can give some of your restricted movement or impingement shoulder problems. Okay, so we're long through the neck, we tuck through the chin, and we're dropped through the shoulders. And now to work on those muscles that help to control that openness there and our shoulder blade movement, we're going to tuck our elbows. Keeping our elbows tucked into our side, we rotate the arms out and we come back. Okay, and you might want to close your eyes because I want you to think about your shoulder blades, where they are. Think of them as being made of chocolate. It's warming slightly and the chocolate is melting, so your shoulder blades are sliding down your back. Your tops of your shoulders are dropping away from your ears. Your chin is slightly tucked and your neck is long. Good. So opening your eyes, we're going to bring our arms forward and we want to get some mobility through the upper back, okay? And if you want to multitask a little bit, we might come into a simple squat as well, okay? Here we're going to breathe in, breathe out, engage and open through the arm and breathe in and come back. Breathe out, connect into your core, breathe in, come back. If you don't know what that means, watch one of my foundation videos where I talk you through inner core and pelvic floor. Breathe out, engage, open, breathe in, come back. So with this move, our hips are staying still. This is a rotational movement of the upper back. And this is to get some movement in the upper back. Also a bit of a stretch through the pecs here because we're going to be using them as we come into our plank. Brilliant. And okay, and because they're always good and our bodies are made to move and our spine loves movement and probably in most of our lives doesn't get enough movement, we're going to come into a roll down. So we come into our neutral position. Our chin is tucked. Then we're going to bring our chin into our chest. Head is going to come forward. We're going to roll down. And we want to get as much movement through the spine as we can. So we're keeping bum over knees and over heels rather than sticking bum back like that. So don't do that. We want to curl up through the spine, coming down as far as we can. And when we reach our limit, we're going to breathe in, breathe out, connect gently into core and come back up. And we're going to do that again. And you could pause it here if you're finding that really good and do a few more reps. But I'm going to move us on because we're working particularly towards our planks today. So taking some of that postural stuff that we did in standing into the more functional position for planks, okay? So in our 4-point kneel position, we're going to have hands slightly forward of shoulders. We want to be just a little bent through our elbows. So again, not kind of really straight through there. And that way we're going to work through the muscles of the floor. We're going to sink our shoulders away from our ears and we're going to poke the chin forward and glide it back. That brings us into our slight chin tuck there, okay, into a long neck position. We're then going to just build awareness around the upper back and the shoulder blades, okay? And to do that, I want you to sink your breastbone towards the floor, okay? Notice that I'm not moving in my arms at all. My elbows aren't bending. This is a movement of my thorax, my rib cage, coming towards the floor, okay? I'm also working on not adjusting through here very much. It's mostly through, like I said, rib cage coming down and then lifting out. So as we bring the breastbone down, it's as if your shoulder blades are tipping in towards the spine and coming closer. And as you come away, the shoulder blades are gliding around the edge of the rib cage and coming away from each other. Then we want to settle in a middle position, okay? And we're doing that to bring awareness and connection into the muscles that control the shoulder blades and the shoulder girdle. So our chin is tucked, our neck is long, our elbows are soft, and we're in a neutral lower back position. We can do that like we did in standing. We tilt the pelvis forward, we tuck it back, and we find our midway. And then we're set up in a really nice position. So to prepare for our plank then, we're going to lift our knees away from the floor, maintaining our box position, okay? So very little adjustment happens, just our knees come away, but our torso, head, neck, shoulders, and back are all maintaining the same position as they were with the knees down, okay? but you'll feel that works a bit more through your abs. So in order to work with the abs, we want to connect into our inner core, so our pelvic floor and our deep abdominals, which we know work together. So we're going to breathe in, breathe out, engage into our inner core by connecting into pelvic floor, squeezing in and up as we breathe out and lift, and breathe in, relax, those muscles come down. Breathe out, engage, come in and up, breathe in, relax and down. Breathe out, engage, in and up, breathe in, relax and down. Brilliant. Okay, so we're going to come back and work on that in a minute. But right now, we're going to work on a bit more shoulder awareness and control. So we're going to have our head rested on the mat, or if you've got a hand towel or a pad, then just have your forehead rested on that. Your chin is tucked. I want your arms just overhead slightly, but be aware of this shoulder position here, okay? We don't want shoulders coming up towards ears. So we're going to tuck through the chin and then glide shoulders away from the ears, and notice how that feels around the shoulder blades, okay? You're then going to just lift through an arm, but without adjusting through that shoulder position. And then the other arm and down. So rather than a reach forward, it's just a lift of the arm, just 5 centimeters away from the floor. Then we're going to come into our legs. We're going to leave the arms for the moment. We're neutral in our lower back, and we're going to lengthen through our leg. So imagine someone's got hold of our ankle and they're pulling the leg out of the socket. That's the move we're looking for. We're alternating legs, reaching. It's very subtle. These are our foundational moves. And what we're trying to achieve here is the leg movement as separate from the rest of your body. Okay, so pelvis is staying still with this move. The rest of the torso is staying still. And the other thing we want to achieve is that our glutes are working, because as we come into this hip extension, both glutes and hamstrings help that movement happen. But typically glutes get weak and hamstrings get controlling and overbearing and then tight. And then we've got an unhealthy pattern. So as you come into this reach of the leg, think about the back pocket area tensing as we come into that reach. When you've mastered that, we're going to come into an opposite arm and leg move. So we're combining what we've just been doing. So we reach through the leg and we float through the arm, and we're still aiming to do that with very little adjustment to anywhere other than the shoulder joint and the leg reach. And we're doing that with our chins tucked, our necks long, and our shoulders dropped. And then if you can multitask a little bit more, we're breathing out and connecting into your core as we come into that reach, and we're relaxing as we come down. Well done. Okay. So coming back up then, we gave our wrists a bit of a rest, being down on our fronts as well. So coming into some mini press-ups. Again, a great exercise when done well, okay? I see when people start out, all sorts of ways of doing press-ups. But what we want to do, I don't care how low you go, but it's about keeping a good form, okay? So those things we just worked on, chin tucked, neck long, shoulders dropped, thinking of that area between the shoulder blades. We're neutral in our lower back. We're going to breathe in, breathe out, connect into your core, and we're going to bend elbows to lower your torso down towards the floor and then come back up, okay? And you'll notice that the only joint that is changing is the elbow, okay? We don't want lower back to change position, any of those things, just the elbows coming down and back up. And really think, I lost it a little bit there, but think about that long neck and touch chin, okay? Brilliant. So coming onto our backs then, before we come into the full plank position. We are going to find our neutral pelvis again, really key, because it's the optimal position. It aligns our ribcage and our pelvis to be a nice cylinder. And you just have to trust me, the inner core muscles that then aligns them so that they can work optimally. They're in the most kind of best position for efficient working and control. And you can learn more about that from my foundations video, talking you through inner core and breathing. But we're going to sink through the ribs and get our gentle curve in the lower back and just work through our hundreds move. So depending on how much Pilates you've done before, you can whiz up through the levels. But if you're new, then really invest time into these lower levels, though they feel like they're not doing much. So we're going to reach through to our fingertips. We're pulsing our arms. It's not frantic, just calm. And we're going to breathe in for 5 pulses and out for 5. And we're relaxed in the core as we breathe in and engaged as we breathe out. If you're new to this, you can pause it and continue at that level. Or we're going to bring a leg into tabletop. So that's where our knee is directly over our hip and our knee is bent at 90 degrees. So in bringing the leg up, we want to have maintained our curve and our pelvic position. We now want to be engaged in the core through the whole breath cycle, although there's not a lot of demand coming through the spine, so it's still probably 30-40% of a maximal effort. Now, if you don't have any pain, we can step that up a level again. We're going to do that by sinking through the ribs, connecting more into the core and bringing our second leg up. And we're breathing in for 5 and out for 5. And you'll feel that you're working a lot more through your abs now, okay? Therefore, we need to connect more into our inner core. Our watch points are that we can breathe through this, that we can stay connected into our core, that we're not overworking elsewhere or getting pain anywhere. If you are struggling in any of those areas, then you just bring a leg down. And that's a really nice move that you can work on, gradually increasing the length of time that you can hold that ideal position for. Arms come down, one leg down at a time. Good. Okay, we're then going to come into our one leg stretch, which is kind of working through the legs because we are going to be working through legs to hold us into our plank position. So let's just come up into one leg stretch level 2. We're coming from single tabletop. We're going to reach the leg away and fold it back. And here our focus is on the pelvis. It doesn't tip forward or rock side to side as we're doing it. If it does, then you'll want to come and work at level 1 for a while, reaching the leg away in this position. So we're really mindful of what that lower back curve is like through this move. So if you're working single, then we're going to change legs, do that on the other leg. Then you could continue working till you've got that really nice control. If you don't have pain, I'm going to come up into double tabletop by imprinting. We've now got a greater connection into our inner core, and we reach one leg away at a time, breathing out away, breathing back. So you'll feel extra forces now going through the lower back. So we're wanting to maintain our neutral. So we've got that nice optimal position for our inner core muscles to be working, because our inner core muscles protect and stabilize the spine. Okay. And you'll feel that when we get the straight leg and a longer lever, it's putting more force through the spine. So we need a greater connection. And if you're not able to keep that connection, then you want to work at a lower level for a bit more time. I'm going to bring one leg down at a time to protect our spine. Just come into a little knee hug and a scoop to release through the butt. And then we are going to mobilize through the spine again. We did that just with a little warm up with our roll down, but now we're going to do our shoulder bridge. So we're going to bring our heels as close to our bum as we can. If you know that you are tight and crampy through hamstrings, you might want to come into a dynamic hamstring stretch first. And you could, if you've got a firm yoga block, you could just put your feet up on your block to just offload the hamstrings a little bit. The arms relaxed by side. This movement, we're going to flatten the lower back into the floor, squeeze through the glutes to power the movement, and then peel one level of the spine up at a time. Then we're going to sink through the ribs first, one level coming down, and then we roll the pelvis forward. That increases our arch, and it's just a really nice stretch. If you think of pushing down through the base of your sacrum, it can come and stretch up into the lower back, where we often our muscles going to get a bit grippy and overworking there. So we're going to flatten, squeeze. We're breathing out as we're peeling up. Breathe in to hold, relax through your core. Breathe out, engage into your core. Come down, roll forward, breathe in, pause and hold that stretch. Breathe out, engage. Imagine your spine like a bicycle chain, one link coming up at a time. Breathe in, relax through your core, and breathe out and come down. And if you had a head pad in place, then for this move, we take it out so that we're just protecting our necks. Lovely. So nice little bit of mobilizing there. And we're going to come back into 4.0 to do our plank. So if you were struggling or you had things still to work on with your box lift, if you were struggling to keep your core engaged or breathe through it or maintain your neutrals, then you're continuing at this level. If that was fine for you, then we're going to bring our hands forward, and you're not progressing if there was any pain with that last move or if you've got pain at the moment in your lower back. So hands slightly forward of shoulders and wider than shoulders to the edge of the mat slightly. We're going to take our feet back a touch. So we've now got our elongated box position, but we'll find our neutral again and just make a mental note of how that feels. We'll poke our chin forward and glide it back and note how it feels. Sink through our shoulders. Let's breathe in, breathe out and hover. Breathe in, straighten through the knees. Breathe out and hold. Breathe in, come back to bent knees, and breathe out, come back. And we want to be engaged from our first breath out and through that whole movement, using our inner core to help stabilize us. And as you feel the force increase and the effort in your abs, then we want to get a greater connection into our core, so more effort through that. Okay, so with this next one, I'm going to show you what it shouldn't look like. Okay, and I often see as people start out with this, these kind of positions. So this is how it shouldn't look, but let's go through it. We're going to hover, we're going to straighten. So often if people are too weak through their abs, we'll see this lift of the bum as they use their hip flexors and legs more to support. Okay, that is not a good position. Let's come back to our knees and down. And another not good position is we hover, we come forward, and there's this hinging through the lower back. Okay, we're going to come back to our knees and down. We want to have a really nice line from the crown of the head down to the tailbone. We get that through the neck with our chin tuck, through the lower back by maintaining our neutral. If you're coming into either one of those positions, you need to work more at the first level of working to increase the length of time that you can hold these positions in a good alignment for. So we're going to breathe in, breathe out, engage, hover, breathe in, come forward. So bum is just a little lower than shoulders. Elbows are soft, so they have a little bend. We're sinking through shoulders and we're tucked through chin. Come back to our knees and down. So just come into a shell stretch. It's nice for stretching through the arms, giving the wrists a break and stretching through lower back. And we'll go again. Breathe in, find our neutral. Breathe out, engage, hover. Breathe in forward. Think about forearm, chin touch, shoulders dropped. Hold that position as we're breathing slowly. Back to our knees and down into our shell stretch. And let's go again. Last one for now, unless you want to carry on and do more. Elbows soft, neutral, low back. Breathe in. Breathe out, engage, hover. Breathe in, come forward. We're still connected into our core. Long through the neck, drop through the shoulders, soft through the elbows. Let's breathe. 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 Back to knees and down and into our shell stretch. Really well done. But you want to listen to your body. You want to watch those particular areas, particularly maintaining that curve, connected into your core, being able to breathe through the movement. and really worth investing into the build up moves that we did and perfecting them, increasing the length of time that you can hold them with a good form and with a connection into your inner core. So that coming into your plank, you can hold that position nicely. I often see people really kind of overworking and straining through neck, which, if that's the case, you want to work more on some deep neck flexors. Perhaps I'll do a video for that sometime. And we want to be thinking about our form through here. Okay, but well done. Put in that foundational work and you'll be doing some really great planks, reinforcing positive patterns as we seek to do through Pilates. But if like my videos, if you did, and subscribe so you get alerts when others come up, and please do share with others. Thanks for joining me.